So, good afternoon, fellow classmates. My name is Mario Cuadra, and I volunteered at Inside Books Project. I'll be honest with you. When I decided to volunteer at Inside Books Project, the only reason why I decided to volunteer here was because it had flexible hours and because it required no orientation. But actually, now that I have done it, I can tell you that it was the most satisfaction that I felt in my life about doing such a thing. It was the first time that I actually felt that I was positively impacting a person's life directly, and most importantly, somebody that wanted to overcome the obstacles they had they had gone through before in their lives. I'll tell you a little bit about what Inside Books Project is, how it works, and then how you can make a positive contribution in a person's life by simply dedicating a small portion of your time to this organization. I'll also tell you why Inside Books Project is the best option and why it differs from any other option that inmates might have to access books. Inside Books Project is an organization that is dedicated to sending books to inmates around the state of Texas. This is how it works. Prisoners send letters to the organization requesting the books that they would like to read, and the organization receives around 1,500 letters a month. As a volunteer, you go there and you try to satisfy their request. Most of the time, you won't find the exact match of what they're looking for, but out of common knowledge, you can at least find something that's similar to the topic that they wanna see. Once you get the books, you pack them in an envelope, and it has to weigh between 1.10 and 1.10 pounds and 1.14 pounds. If you exceed this, they recommend to go to 2.10, 2.14, and so on, just because it's pointless to waste that amount of weight because of what they pay for shipment. The purpose of the organization is to create a brighter future to those prisoners that have the desire to overcome and become more educated. I say educated because according to IBP, 25% of the books that are requested are dictionaries and thesaurus, which just gives us an idea that they're just not only looking for a way to do something with their free time, but also educate and become better persons. And well, we have a lot of time, free time. Actually, according to the Statista database, young adults in the United States spend around 20 hours a week watching television, which is a lot of time. If you dedicate just 30 minutes out of that to trying to help someone else, you will feel the satisfaction that I felt after going here. And also, IBP has two major benefits as a volunteer. It has very flexible hours, as I said before, and also it's a very fun environment. The hours are Thursdays and Sundays from 7 to 11 p.m. and every second Monday of the month, once again from 7 to 11 p.m. And it's actually a very fun environment. You can bring your own drinks if you're old enough. You have a beer or some wine. There's music, and then after a while you get to sit around with people that are either from St. Edward, UT, ACC, and you get to you make a lot of friends while making a huge contribution to society. And let's say you volunteer there for 30 minutes a week, you can send 2 letters. If you do this twice a month, and after a year, you would be impacting the lives of 48 individuals, which is more than most people have ever impacted in their whole lifetime, and you can do this in one simple year. Well, and now I'll let you, what's the difference between Inside Books Project and any other option this inmates have to have two books. And well, first of all, we are the only organization that delivers books weekly. Other organizations send books annually, and it's also not directed to the person, directly to the specific person, because when you send them the books, you write a letter like enjoy the readings, and you tell them what you're sending them. So if a person has been in prison for, let's say, 10 years, he's basically not been called for his first name or not have anyone worry about them outside that prison that's not a relative, so it's very important for them. Also, Texas does not allow inmates to have any wage for their work inside. So, the books also serve as a means to exchange things with other prisoners, and it's a great way to change the environment within the prison because you're now giving a dictionary for something else. So now it's 2 people you're impacting by volunteering at Inside Books Project. And also, relatives are not allowed to send books to the prison. They can just send letters, so you're basically their only means to find this education within while they're serving their sentence. Well, to conclude, I told you about what Inside Books Project is, which is an organization dedicated to sending books to prisoners around Texas. I also gave you a brief overview of what 30 minutes of if you sacrifice out of those 20 hours watching television, 30 minutes that you dedicate to them can cause a huge impact in their lives. And lastly, I talked about how Inside Books Project is basically the only option that inmates in Texas have for access books. So volunteering at Inside Books Project is an excellent way to contribute to society in the long run. By sending books to prisoners, we help them in their intellectual growth, which is a direct correlation with what they did before and how they can have a positive impact in society once they are released. You can see this volunteering experience as a long-term investment, because at the end of the day, these inmates will be released, and they will will be released. And if they use their time in prison wisely, they can make a positive contribution to society and the community. If more people decide to contribute to this organization, more and more books can be shipped annually and create a greater environment within the prison and also within the communities in which they will serve once they are released. They can also transmit the idea that education is a good way to get away from the streets or from crimes, which in Texas it's huge, because according to the Bureau of Justice, we have 152,000 inmates, which is the most amount of inmates from in the United States. So eventually, if more people contribute to this organization, we can reduce the crime rates in a state that has suffered from this for a long, long time. Well, thank you for your time, and I hope you all join Inside Books Project. I'm open for questions now.